Welcome back, folks. We're outside. One of the last days we're going to be able to do this outside.
Look at short sleeves. We're toughing it today.
Yeah. It's gorgeous weather out here today.
I love days like this. I do love the fall in Canada, the spring in Canada. Summer was pretty good this year, but we had some hot, we had some wet. So we get fall like this. I could, do it all the time. Now we're a better place to be than right across from West Lake Evans Park.
Beautiful park right there.
Yep. How many kids playing in the playground?
There are a lot of kids out playing. We came out, we thought it was fantastic. And one of the questions, we're just going to get in this right at the hop.
Right, go for it.
One of the questions that came in to cover today was about potential drug use in the park, because there was a person who said they saw some and they were concerned about it and whether or not the police were going to be able to do anything.
Right.
And I'm happy to report that when we walked out this afternoon here to the patio, there was
Catherine McNeil, our downtown constable, and she was in the park. Yep. She rushed away to go get more ice cream coupons for the kids playing in the park. She's phenomenal with downtown merchants and what we're doing. The answer is, Grayden, yes. I mean, this is still the core of a growing city, and we will have some issues. But what we did immediately was talk to the police about having more patrols in the park, talk to our city staff about having more cleanup patrols in the park, and to talk to the people involved. The busier the park is, the less trouble we will have in the park, and that's what we're doing there with the child care center at one end, some businesses across the road, including City Hall, and now a beautiful park. Beautiful playground and well used. There is always a lot of kids playing there.
Ever since it's opened, it's been packed. Every time I've gone by.
Where are these kids coming from?
I don't know, but I'm really happy to see them out having fun with their parents.
Right. Well, because while the kids are playing, I can't go play on the climbing stuff. No, because it looks bad. But there just is a lot of parents. Now, I think it's associated with the library. People going to the library and say, hey, let's go try out the new playground.
Makes sense.
So it does make sense. But what a great addition to our community, and a great nearby to the new child care center, and just making this area more vibrant in downtown. And we'll need to continue to do that as we continue the construction in downtown. We saw the first of some pavement go down on area number 2 in the downtown today, and that doesn't mean it's imminently to open, but it is to open very soon. We're done the major big pieces and sidewalk bricklaying, and the concrete's now all poured for the parking spots on Talbot, and we put the pavement down, and there's some signage and trees and other stuff that has to happen. But you know what's happening?
What's happening?
We're doing a huge grand reopening of our downtown. And
you know what?
It's a neat festival.
The Oktoberfest I've been hearing about?
Oktoberfest, yes. October 14th on the Saturday, downtown. I'm going to let all the merchants do kind of open doors and talk about what they do. But we're also going to have a bit of a beer garden and some pretzels and sausages and oom-pa-pa music.
So what you're saying is, as soon as we get this street open, we're closing it down again?
Only for the moment, in order to tap a keg and have an event downtown. We want to use our downtown for some events too. Most of it will be centered around the Moore Street grass area, and we will be closing a little bit of the street for a little bit in order to celebrate all the work that got done this summer, and let all the merchants have you the guests downtown, and go see what we have in the downtown of our St. Thomas.
And we know there are thousands of you that watch this show every week, so we're hoping you're going to come down for the Oktoberfest celebration.
Get your lederhosen out.
Yeah. I really hope you have lederhosen.
Yes. I'll have to dig farther back in my closet. I know I had lederhosen. I once played Rolf in Sound of Music.
Oh, yeah?
And had to wear lederhosen for that.
Was that down in Port Stanley?
It was at the Port Stanley Festival Theatre. The board play one year was Sound of Music, and I played Ralph, 17 going on 18, I was not at the time, and nor could I sing, and Sound of Music is a musical. So it was very difficult. It was acting at its finest for me, right?
What other events do we have? There's a lot of stuff coming up.
Well, we got. We know we're going to have Sarah Noble on next week talk about Bridges to Better Business, and that's kind of a great celebration of local food and local business. So we'll talk about that more next week. But mark your calendars, October 5th. we have the Children's Festival in Optimist Park coming up this Saturday, 9:30, I think, in the morning, or 10 in the morning.
10 registration, I think.
Yep. And I was at the Kids Festival, must have been just before COVID. I don't think it's been since. And the Optimists do a great job.
There's a snake lady coming.
Is she? Does
I don't know. I don't know the details.
Does she? No, I got to be careful what I ask you. Is this about shedding skin? Is it about slithering? Is it?
I'm assuming
or she has snakes.
You know, I think she has snakes, but
she
don't
has
know.
snakes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a whole bunch of stuff. They always have a great festival, and it's over on Chestnut Street.
Yes, in the Optimist Park on Chestnut Street. Please come by Saturday. There'll be all the normal kids festivals kind of stuff, but thank you to our Optimist Club. They certainly help with a lot of things, and certainly planning meal or cooking at other people's festivals. Canada Day was one of the things they did. They and the Santa Claus Parade, which is coming up too. The Optimists do a great job in our community of organizing some very big events. But a children's festival this Saturday.
And just a quick note also, Railway State Brewing has just announced that Allen Cross is coming back again in October. So pop over to their Facebook page and get the link to go and buy tickets, because Allen Cross, the ongoing history of rock and roll, is a phenomenal show.
And I had to ask you who this was.
Yes.
So I'm sure there's some people at home going, well, now that it's been verified, there's good people out there saying this is a good show. We should do it. So
I've been listening to his history of rock and roll for years. I think it was on FM 96 back in the day. So the ongoing history of rock and roll. Come on, you learn all about the different rock acts and stuff. And
I grew up with it. I didn't have to.
This is your life.
My sister. Yeah.
Your sister?
No, she taught me most of the old songs.
Oh, okay. The old songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not old myself.
No.
That my siblings were old, and I learned from them.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then there was council on Monday as well.
Yes, we had council on Monday as well, and we have really quite launched into a new strategic plan. The finishing up of our last 5-year strategic plan. And I read a report today, basically, that's going to council on this Monday night about the accomplishments we've done on our strategic plan, how much of it we have done. And I guess sometimes you forget how much you've really accomplished.
Yep.
St. Thomas has done a lot, but now we're looking forward, and we're looking for input from all of you, including all the businesses, all the community groups, all the general public. And what are your aspirations for St. Thomas over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years? What are we doing right? What can we do better at? What type of growth would you like to see? And I will counsel and challenge you all that the money bushel basket is not bottomless. There is a lot of stuff we can do, and we're moving forward as a great city on growth. But we also have to still be responsible to the people who pay taxes for their homes and maybe on a fixed income, and we have to make sure we're not raising taxes beyond that benefit.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure of that. And as we get into budget this year, some of the things we're planning in our strategic plan will be connected. We'll have to see, well, this is what we have. Obviously, with the growth we have, some major industry coming to town in 4 or 5 years, right? And it is that length of time away. We'll be able to do more. But let's look at, what do you want St. Thomas to look like? We're growing, so let's grow smart.
Yep.
Let's get the input you can. And it's amazing how many people have already given input to our strategic plan group, and there'll be a lot more opportunity for you. And next week we'll talk about some other dates where you can. One of the strategic plan meeting is at the library. Another one is at the queso station. Another one is virtual. You can't avoid it.
Yeah,
unless
you got to get in and have your say, because I know a lot of people have been talking about transit lately on the social media sites. This is your chance. Come in, let people know what your experiences are, what you would like to see, and help move that forward.
Right, and tell us, what would you like us not to do? I mean, if indeed you have some large expenditure projects you'd like us to spend on, then maybe you have to tell us what you don't want in order for us to be able to do some of the things you do want.
Yeah. Now, there was something we were potentially going to be able to talk about this week that we talked about last week. Can we talk about that yet, or do we have to wait till next week?
Next week.
Next week.
No, we're talking about regional transit. I'll give you the full hint. We're talking about the transit between London and St. Thomas, and we believe we've solidified it, but we want to wait now and give it to you all at once, how much it is, how often it will run, who's servicing, and how it will work. And I think within the next 2 weeks, we'll be able to talk a lot more about it.
Can't wait. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting news. Now, there was another meeting that you were at.
Oh, it seems like every minute of the day, right? I was at a builders meeting yesterday, and they asked the mayor to come out and speak about the vision of the city, where we're going. Certainly things like the Volkswagen plant, what we're working on. I was at another meeting yesterday morning with a group of other builders, out of town builders, with the Doug Terry group, talking more about net zero homes and how to better do home building. But it's neat to have our home builders having great conversations with the city right now. We know we need housing. We know we can't do it. We don't build houses in the city. We ask others to do it. We let them do that. And so it was great to have a great group yesterday asking us questions and talking about what we could do, what we could do better. And certainly in some cases in yesterday's conversation, talking about other communities around us, and thankful they're not living there.
Yeah.
Or not doing business there either.
We're pretty blessed here in St. Thomas, I have to say. It's I grew up here and I was like, I left. And then I kept coming back and being like, you know what? It's
pretty good here.
It's actually pretty awesome. Yeah. It's actually pretty awesome. And I'm pretty happy I came back. But there's always places or room for improvement.
Yes.
And so looking at that is never a bad idea, especially with housing.
It's been a tougher year for our home builders with the interest rates the way they are. Some of the single family homes are not selling as well. But if you look around, there's some very large market rent apartment buildings being put up now. And we haven't had that for decades here. And so we're really working hard on increasing the housing variety in town, as long as also the number of houses we'll need as we continue to attract somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 people a year into St. Thomas.
It's incredible.
We've got jobs, we've got roads, we've got parks, we've got trails, and we need to make sure we have the housing.
Yeah, we've got an amazing arts center, and they just released their programs for kids and adults, their whole fall program. So go and check that out. I know Liliana, my daughter, is going to be taking classes there again. Is very excited about it.
Well, but she gets her art genetically. Her dad's pretty damn good at it. So that's like saying, let's have singing lessons and have the mayor. No,
or me. I don't know. I'm not good at the singing side. But the dancing, we did Dancing with the Stars.
We better brag a little.
Yeah, we better talk. We've been talking about it for like 2 months.
Right.
Practicing for 5.
Yes. Last Friday night, we both danced in Dancing with the Stars over at the Elgin County Railway Museum. Full house of about 300 people.
Yeah,
a really fun night.
Oh, phenomenal.
And you know what? We both did okay.
We totally did okay. That was our goal going in. Our wives, though.
Yeah. Chuck.
Stole the show.
Yeah.
Stephanie and Joe led it off, and Stephanie was dancing around.
Oh, she was incredible. Nobody looked at Joe. They didn't have to. They had Stephanie to look at. And then Grayden and Jess were next, and the same thing happened there.
I know, it was perfect.
And we did a version of East Coast Swing, which I actually had to move my feet, and you did a tango, which was
Argentinian tango.
Oh, it was as romantic as you'd ever want.
Tore up the dance floor, literally.
Right. And we were first and second, which meant that I could go hit the bar and watch the rest of the dancers all night. It was great.
It was really funny because I took pictures of everybody except for the dancers after me because I went right to the bar.
That's right. I will say it was a fun evening, a great fundraiser for the railway groups in town, and I'll thank Jim and Rita Herbert, who coached us. Sometime in June, I gave up. I just said, this is not going to work. Joe's not going to be able to dance. He has no rhythm and he can't hear. And they said, okay, just one more practice. We're going to bring it together now. We've been teaching you individual stuff. And they brought it together to a routine that I then said, oh, well, now that I know what comes after what, we can do this. And from then on, although it was a lot of practice, it was a lot of fun. I would guess that your coaches did exactly the same thing.
Helen and Dave were phenomenal. And what they did is they were teaching us, okay, we're not going to teach you a routine right out of the gate. We're going to teach you all the things. And that way, if you mess up, you can just go into one of these other things.
Do your own thing. Right.
And I've learned things before, so I know it's the way to do it. But it's the most frustrating thing when you're just stumbling through every little.
I don't learn well that way.
Yeah.
Don't give me pieces over and over again. Give me the whole thing so I can put it together.
It's like learning the alphabet by this is A, this is B, this is C. Give me the words. Let me put all the words. Anyway, all worked out. They were phenomenal, very patient, and
then really near the end, we said, okay, how will we add artistic to this? How do we make this look even better?
Yeah.
Right. And then what will you be wearing, and what will Stephanie be wearing? And that was huge. That brought it together.
Yeah. No, it was, oh man, the outfits. 'Cause
Okay,
Stephanie had
you
this-
should have seen Grayden, because he did this thing at the beginning where he's working hard on his computer. Now that's not normal in a dance competition, but he's sitting there wearing his computer and Jess kind of saying, "Come on,
It's like-
let's start." Right? No, and he's working away on his computer, and it was really quite a good gag to start. It really
and
worked well.
anyone who knows me knows I'm
No.
always working on my computer, finishing things off, and then running off to the next thing.
Right.
So I was like, all my friends are going to get it.
Just a little late.
Yeah, just a little bit, but happy, and my clients are happy, so that's the most important part.
Yeah.
But we should also mention, like, all the dancers were phenomenal.
More fun, and it was a really fun night for all 7 couples that were there, and then a couple of other demonstrations
Yeah.
of exceptional dance. But we all became kind of good friends and really cheering for each other on the dancing. I think it was also the first time ever that a couple won both the popular choice, the
Yep.
crowd's favorite, and the judge's favorite.
And they did an amazing
Yes,
job. That was
they
Meg and Nate,
Yes.
Meg Infant,
Yep.
and Nate McIntyre. And like,
Yeah.
I recorded their dance for them,
Right.
and I posted on Established. So go and check it out.
Look at that. They were.
It's like-
These are amateurs who
Yeah.
learned how to do this year. This was
Right?
really quite good.
It was next level. It's such and now like Jess and I are like, well, we're gonna go every year now because
Well,
it's just so
I judged
great.
last year, and I
Yeah.
had a great time being a judge because I had no pressure except watching great dancing. This year, they said, "Well, would you come and dance?" I said, "Well, if Stephanie will." Like, that wasn't going to happen if we asked.
Yeah.
And so it did. And next year, I want to be involved. I want to help them. I mean, it's especially the move to the Elgin Elgin County Railway Museum is a great venue for it. Fantastic place to have it.
Yeah. And one of the things that allowed you to do that was a new dog park that's opened up out in Southold. It's called Dogs on 3.
I want to say hi to Tanya and the group out at Dogs on 3. It opened last Wednesday. It opened a week ago, and our puppies and JoJo have been there, I think, 3 times since, because we've been really crazy busy with the Dancing with the Stars, plus getting ready for a wedding a week Friday. But these puppies they think this is like going to school. They're having a ride.
Well, Stephanie sent me a video, and they're not just there; they're being taught
no,
while they're there.
They're going up ramps and down ramps. And I went out today and said, "Hi, puppies," and they said, "Oh no, watch us." They don't want to talk to me, right? And JoJo's there all day, our older dog, and she's been kind of just working in the office, greeting people as they come in. And she's pretty pleased with the place. So, if you have a need for boarding or overnight boarding or daycare through the day, Dogs on 3. It's on Highway 3, just west of Talbotville. So we said we'd say thanks again. And in the first week of their business, they're a little tired too. It's a lot of work.
Look like there were a lot of dogs there already.
Yep. So perfect.
Fantastic.
Yep. Okay. What other events do we have in town? Do we have any questions? Maybe we can answer questions.
Let's see if we've got some questions, some comments that are coming in here. Oh, Timothy Hedden is asking if they also handle people. I don't believe they do.
Well, if you take your puppy there, they could put you in the little dog sleeping area while your dog goes outside and runs. That would work. Yes. Because I know Tim, and he does improv very well.
He's got a lot of energy, that guy.
He could pretend he was a dog, and it would be a couple of minutes before people figured out he wasn't.
Well, I hope he wears the full outfit when he does it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there was an integration meeting.
I did. We did over the last 2 weeks. We've really seen a change in the diversity in our community. So certainly, we talked about the international students at Fanshawe. I went out and visited them, and we also went to the international barbecue on Saturday at Pinafore Park, and with Patricia and her group, the Immigration Partnership, and it was excellent. And I think we need to recognize what the diversity is changing in our community. We need to get out there and be parts of it.
Like, we're 7% visible minorities now.
Yes, and what a great time that was. And while I was in the park, Toys for Tots, the motorcycle groups were doing Toys for Tots. Well, okay, the mayor had to work from one pavilion to another while he was in the park on Saturday or on Sunday, but fantastic. So that was one. Another thing that we did today was a community safety and well-being integration table. We've been together with the county looking at 5 different categories and how we make our community safer. It's kind of a mandated provincial program that not every community's got to yet, but we talk about education and skills development and workforce development. That is one. We have a lot of jobs coming up, and how are we doing them? We talked about housing security. Danielle Nielsen from our housing
Hmm.
department talked today about what that looks like, and
Hmm.
where our by names list and how we're filling up the station
Hmm.
and how we're preparing for the winter homeless needs
Hmm.
based with our shelter. And this is an across county thing too, because
Hmm.
we handle housing from across the county. Um, and so we have seen, um, certainly with the opening of the new station at Queen Street,
Hmm.
the station from Indwell, a real improvement, but that's it's still housing up. It's not full yet, and so we keep using people off our by names list from a
Hmm.
homeless point of view, and finding them a permanent home with supportive housing. Right.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So we're doing all that. Then we talked about mental health.
Hmm.
And Sandra McCabe from the Canadian Mental Health Association talked about what her staff is doing, and that
Hmm.
CMHA has a new CAO for the Thames Valley District.
Hmm.
Um, and how we're at, in February, we started with 3 beds of detox
Hmm.
from a addictions point of view. And those 3 beds from February till now have had 110 uses, average stay of 4 days.
Wow.
There's a lot going on. Converting to a new 7 bed facility, we can't give you the location of that,
Hmm.
but if 3 beds had 110 uses, how many uses will 7 beds have as we move forward?
Hmm.
This is what we've been trying to do in our community: is really move forward on the wraparound services that are available in our indwell buildings and in our housing buildings, and also offer a permanent solution to addiction, or at least the path towards permanency on addiction. So that's
Hmm.
great. Also, moving into grief counseling.
Hmm.
Sandra McKay will be joining the two of us. While I was at this meeting today, I asked, would you come on Mayor's Update? She said she'd come and share this. So
Love it.
perfect. They are working on a transition at stake
Hmm.
at the St. Thomas Elgin General Hospital for crisis use there
Hmm.
from a mental health point of view. So that was another piece discussed today. And then Chief Roskamp gave an excellent presentation about policing and the work of our police,
Hmm.
how hard it is for some of our police right now to not be involved all day long in mental health and other problems in our community, and
Hmm.
what the priorities are, certainly the downtown and our special constable program on how to move that forward.
Hmm.
So, and the fact that we'd asked them to be involved at AMO and go speak to the Solicitor General, it added an extra piece to our municipal consultations there. And Jennifer Nevis is the Ontario Police Provincial Police Detachment Commander now.
Hmm.
Inspector Jennifer was there today also, and she joined in and talked with our chief about how we do this right across the county. And then some more, but from the chief's report, call volume continues to increase. 2,000 more calls at this point of this year versus this time last year.
Wow.
2,000, so that's a lot. And growth because of the change. There's growth,
Hmm.
and 13% increase in crime severity in St. Thomas,
Wow.
and we're seeing almost a level to that all across Ontario. We need
Hmm.
to have more conversations from the community about that too.
Hmm.
And then some talk from the substance abuse and addiction table, and they're coming forward with a report that we will all look at as a group also, including the municipalities. And then from the Ontario Health Teams, which is, if you knew what the LIN was, it's the health funding
Yeah.
organization that helps fund the projects. It's sitting at that table so they can hear what we're working on, what we think is best and next, and exceptional information from Deanna on how they can help work in across Elgin County on some of the pieces too, including access and the strength and the ability to work together. We know that there's so many good community groups all trying to work on some of the same things. And why don't we say, okay, then you do this county-wide instead of just here, and we'll
Mhm.
go over here and do this slightly different but county-wide. So we're actually accomplishing more if we can get the community groups looking at it that way.
That makes a lot of sense.
They're really promoting the mental health first aid courses.
Mhm.
I think it was, maybe 2 years ago, Stephanie and I took the mental health first aid course.
Oh yeah, was that CMHA that was?
Yes,
hosting
CMHA
that?
puts that on, and the OHT is really helping push that issue. And we're now trying to get businesses to take it, corporations to take it, places like City Hall to take the mental health first aid course. Because we're not only talking about the tragic mental health we may see on our streets because of addiction, but also the mental health pressures in our everyday life. Kids in school with mental health, us at work and mental health issues. So that's part of what we talk about. So that happens every 2 months in our community. The integration table gets together. The warden chairs it one time, and then I'll chair it the next. But we all get a chance to talk about the whole place. The county is one place rather than St. Thomas and the county. It's one place. So it's one of the meetings I really look forward to, and it really a lot of good conversation happens and a lot of good action comes out of it.
No, it's important work, and it's one of those things. I mean, that's probably the biggest challenge next to housing facing our community. Like
truly, and we find a real mix in it because as we've talked before, with the supportive housing we're getting from Indwell and the mental health and addiction supports at those facilities, it's a combination of the two. It's not just four walls and a bed. It does not do it. So housing doesn't, but it's really important. The other thing we're saying is we're seeing a bit of a creeping up in our by names list. And that is, it will worry us because it is simply financially related. We're not seeing new people. We're seeing some people who were housed in St. Thomas now gone beyond the economic line of being able to afford where they're staying.
Right.
And so now we're dealing with their homelessness and their housing issues also. I don't want to say it's easier to deal with that. It's a different strategy than those with illness of mental health or addictions, but we have to keep an eye that we don't get too far along the lines of economic homelessness.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. And there's the invisible homelessness that people talk about as well. It's like when you're staying with friends, you're staying with family, so you're not technically homeless, but you're on that cusp. You're very close.
And many of the people who are couch serving or are staying with friends and or in a position they don't want to be are on our by names list. We do know them as homeless, but they have some supports, and so they maybe get less wraparound service because they at least have a place to go tonight. But you're right; to us, it's all an issue, and we have to address them all.
Yeah.
What else have we got? That was pretty deep.
We were talking about we got that done. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We covered a lot of information in the past 20, almost 30 minutes. And we should talk about Business After 5, which is going to be at the library. So this is the
next
Chamber
Wednesday
of Commerce.
Night. Yes.
Our monthly event.
Yes.
And it's just a fantastic event. If you're not a business and you're not a member, then you can always ask someone who is, and they'll get you an invite.
You can attend with them. It is by invitation, but we want people who are trying to do startup businesses in our community or know someone who is or work at somebody's business. You can represent the business by coming to Business After 5. Great place to network, great place to meet a lot of people. I spent a lot of time this last 2 or 3 Business After 5s talking with young people in the summer companies that come and starter companies, new startup businesses, and offer the support we can in conversation with them.
Yeah, and it's one of the best events, I think, in the area. It's just a phenomenal group of people. You learn so much. You can make so many different connections. So highly recommend it. And next week, library. We're going to be there, and we're going to broadcast at 7.
We're going to do Mayor's Update a little later next week. For those watching tonight, probably not 6:30. By the time Business After 5 wraps up, we'll do a 7 o'clock till 7:30 business Mayor's Update at the library.
Yep. Hey, there's
the bells.
There are the bells.
7 o'clock.
We hit it right on the dot.
Get off, or Rogers will be mad.
That's right. Yeah, and if you don't catch us here, you'll catch us on Rogers or you'll catch us on YouTube.
Right.
And we look forward to seeing you next week. Have an amazing time over this next I'm saying week a lot,
Yeah.
but your next
Thank
week.
Thank you for allowing us to be on your phone, your computer, or your iPad this week. And anywhere you can catch Mayor's Update, the information is there. Ask the questions you need to be part of this city.
Cheers, everybody.
Thanks.